There's a moment in life, a very quiet moment, when all the noise finally fades. The expectations, the roles we played, the people we tried to please, the things we thought mattered. And in that silence, something deeper rises, a soft truth many people only discover near the very end. I lived too much of my life for others and not enough of it for myself. Today, I want to tell you a story, a real human story about an older man who reached life's final chapter and looked honestly at the choices he made. And he shared something powerful, something tender, something that might help you stop regrets before they ever begin. Because wisdom from life's end isn't meant to make us sad. It's meant to set us free. For those who are new here, this channel is a space for honest, warm conversations about aging, healing, and the legacy we leave behind. I've spent years working closely with seniors and listening to end-of-life stories, the kind people only tell when all the pretending is gone. In palliative care research, especially the work of Bronnie Ware, one regret appears more than almost any other. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. That regret is at the heart of today's story, and I hope it offers you clarity, comfort, and the courage to live the rest of your life with intention, not obligation. This is the story of Walter Hayes, an 82-year-old retired accountant, soft-spoken, gentle, a man who always did what he was supposed to do. Walter was the kind of person who didn't want to disappoint anyone, not his parents, not his wife, not his boss, not his children. He always put others first, not out of weakness, but out of love and fear. Love for those around him, fear of letting them down. As Walter entered hospice care after a long illness, something shifted. He began talking about his life with a rare honesty, the kind that only arises when someone is ready to tell the truth, not to impress, but to be understood. One afternoon, he asked his nurse if she could bring him a notebook. He said he wanted to write the things I wish someone had told me earlier. That notebook would become the heart of today's story. Walter's daughter Elise visited him every day. She brought books, warm blankets, and soft classical music that made his room feel peaceful. One day, she found him staring at the notebook, pen in hand, tears in his eyes. She asked him gently, "Dad, what are you writing?" Walter took a breath, slow, shaky, and handed her the page. At the top were 5 simple words: "I lived my life small." Elise felt her chest tighten. "What do you mean?" she whispered. Walter looked at her with soft, aged eyes that had finally stopped hiding. He said, "I spent so many years doing what everyone else wanted. I became the reliable son, the stable husband, the responsible father, the hard-working employee. But somewhere along the way, Elise, I forgot who I was." He paused, then added, "I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't me." For years he had dreamed of teaching history. He loved stories of ancient civilizations. He had wanted to write a book about the lessons he learned in life. He wanted to travel. He wanted to paint. But every time he felt that spark inside him, he put it out with the same sentence: "Someone needs me right now, later." But later never came. He looked down at his hands, trembling, thin, worn from time, and whispered, "I thought sacrificing myself would make everyone proud. But now I see I was allowed to be proud of myself too." It was the regret Walter never confessed until the end. He had lived a life that was safe, responsible, polite, but not deeply, authentically his own. As Walter continued writing in his notebook, he broke down his life into 5 parts, a simple reflection that followed the arc of many real lives. Situation: Walter always wanted to make people happy. He grew up in a family where approval was given only when you followed the rules. Desire: he wanted freedom. He wanted creativity. He wanted a life that matched his inner world, not just his outer obligations. Conflict: every time he tried to pursue what he loved, guilt tugged at him. He believed taking time for himself was selfish. He believed stable choices were always better than soulful ones. Change: at the end of his life, when he finally allowed himself to be honest, he realized the truth. He had the right to live boldly. He just didn't give himself permission. Result: as he shared this with his daughter, she began to see him differently, not just as dad, but as a human being who had dreams, fears, and unexpressed passions. And Walter realized something else, something that may help anyone watching this right now. He said, "It wasn't too late. I may not have decades left, but I can still live my truth today, in my conversations, in my honesty, in the way I show love." End-of-life wisdom doesn't always mean changing the past. Sometimes it means finally telling the truth. Research from palliative nurses and psychologists shows that the regret of not living authentically is one of the top 5 end-of-life regrets worldwide. Bronnie Ware's groundbreaking interviews with patients revealed this truth. Most people spend too many years living out roles, and not nearly enough years living out their soul. According to studies from Stanford University, people who live authentically report significantly higher emotional well-being. Self-suppression, hiding true desires, true opinions, true self, is linked to anxiety, chronic stress, and even poorer physical health. People who live by others' expectations often don't realize the weight they carry until that weight is finally gone. Psychologists call this the false self-burden. It's the pressure to appear fine, capable, agreeable, predictable, acceptable. Walter carried this burden for 60 years, not because he was weak, but because he was kind. And here's the part that stunned Elise. "When you were growing up," Walter said, "I thought being strong meant being who everyone needed. But now I understand. Strength would have been letting you see who I really was." In the final weeks of his life, Walter wrote down 3 pieces of wisdom in that notebook, the 3 things he wished he'd understood decades earlier. These became the most powerful legacy he left behind. 1. Peace comes when you stop performing. He wrote, "I spent too much of my life acting like the version of myself people expected. Please don't do the same. Be real, be flawed, be honest. It's so much lighter." 2. Your life is allowed to make you proud. Walter said that every time he chose others over himself, he thought he was doing the noble thing. But the cost was his own joy. He wrote, "No one benefits when your spirit is dim. Your light is meant to shine, not shrink." 3. You are the only person who can give yourself permission. Walter always waited for a sign, for approval, for the right moment. But he told Elise, "There is no right moment. There is only now. And you are the only one who can say yes to your own soul." These 3 thoughts changed Elise. She later said that her father taught her more in those last few weeks than in the previous 40 years. Because some wisdom can only emerge when all illusions fall away.
If you're watching this and you feel even a small tug in your chest, if you recognize yourself in Walter, if you've spent years being who others needed instead of who you truly are, let me tell you something gently and clearly. You are still allowed to choose yourself. At any age, in any chapter, in any moment, you are allowed to start a hobby that excites you. Speak an opinion that's really yours. Say no without guilt. Take time for yourself. Be imperfect. Be bold. Be honest. Be real. Life doesn't shrink because you get older. Life shrinks when you stop listening to yourself. And the greatest gift you can give the people you love is to show them who you truly are, not who you think you're supposed to be. Walter's life may be over, but his wisdom is not. Live in a way that makes the end feel peaceful, not regretful. And that begins with one courageous decision: choosing yourself today. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of someone, or gave you a bit of clarity for your own life, please like this video, share it with someone who needs the message, and subscribe for more heartfelt conversations. You deserve a life that feels like yours. You deserve truth. You deserve peace. And it's never too late to live it.